All right, so that's the NHP chairperson who's talking about the fact that there is actually right now a difference of opinion. Reserve Bank of India has no mood to relent and allow banks to restructure loans for developers whose projects are stuck, while there's Finance Ministry which is pushing for those changes to happen and banks to get that leverage to actually restructure. Several of these policy matters will be discussed by developers, India's leading developers, bankers and ministers at the NDTV 11th National Convention on Sustainable Housing for the Masses. This is at Vigyan Bhavan, New Delhi on December 7th and 8th. Naveen Raheja, President NDTV and CMD Raheja Developers is here with me in the studio. Let's find out what are the big points on the agenda. So Mr. Raheja, finally you've been able to pin down not just the President of India but the key ministers to come. Do you think it will have some impact, or it's all again going to be talk and no action?
No, this time we are not going to. We mean business. We have brought all the people on the table. And I'm very much hopeful that we'll be able to make people understand that what are the problems. And we will definitely try to convince them that please give us solutions.
All right.
So, we look at it, in India, now 65 years, so much urbanization is happening, development is happening in the country, but there is no fixed plan about where these people who are migrating from agriculture sector to urban areas.
So urbanization remains a big challenge. I think the government recognizes it as well.
But there is no fixed plan, on the place.
Absolutely.
So we are going to force that plan.
You're going to force a blueprint for urbanization?
Urbanization.
All right. So that's one big agenda. Housing for the masses, I think, because that's your key thing.
That is okay.
Easier said than done. None of the private developers are motivated to come in. Do you think the government will sit up and listen and figure out a way to work in partnership with the private developers, private players to make it happen?
There is no option. Government could not do it. Government cannot do it. Government cannot be a developer. It's already established. So you have to create some policies, some systems and some mechanism in a manner where you can take private developers to develop these kind of mass housing schemes, so that people can move into them. You do need to give them a roof.
Right.
आपको मकान देना पड़ेगा उनको.
Well, I think everybody recognizes it, but there's just so much in terms of the policy gaps and incentivization. I just hope that the convention will be able to close all those gaps, Mr. Raheja.
Yes, we know.
Thank you very much and all the very best for that very big NDTV convention. Let's just tell you, in case you would like to hear what the policymakers have to say, what developers have in mind, there are going to be some very interesting sessions as well. 11th National Convention on Sustainable Housing for the Masses, Vigyan Bhavan, New Delhi, December 7, 2012, that is, and December 8. So 2 days, and we'll also be bringing you a very special panel discussion from this convention here on the Property Show. So we will of course tell you the date on which that will be aired. Okay, now for our expert segment, and today's focus is going to be on legal questions from our viewers. Munish Upadhyay is with me here to take all the questions which have come to us. Munish, thank you very much for joining us. And I'm going to first start. All right, I think we've got our first caller, but there's some problem there. So let me start with an email question which has come in from Ashish Garg. He says, I have a query regarding Spy Central project in Sector 106 Gurgaon. I've invested in the project in 2010 mid, and at the time of booking, I was promised possession in 3 years, but the construction activity never started. So whenever I ask the company reps, they've told me that they're awaiting building plan approvals from the authorities. Gosh, 3 years, no building plan approvals. Okay. So his basic question is that 15 days back, I received a letter from the builder saying that the land is under some kind of litigation and construction cannot be started. So what does he do? Can he get a refund, Munish? Is it easy to get a refund? Because this looks like very tricky.
It's a very typical story of real estate which is happening pan-India nowadays by a lot of builders. So of course he'll be able to get his money back, because courts nowadays are very, very proactive and they are in favor of the hapless buyers and consumers. So he can very well approach the consumer court of the concerned jurisdiction or the National Consumer Forum, as the jurisdiction may be, depends on the amount of money invested by him. and he will for sure get his money back, along with a rate of interest which could be 12 or 18% as the case may be. And in case he had signed some kind of a document with the builder which had exemplified some damages to him, even they will be payable to him, because 3 years is a pretty long time and courts will definitely take an account of that.
All right, so I think very clearly, Ashish, you will have to approach the courts, and in your case, I think you've got a very strong case to get a refund. Tushit Bhartwar is on the phone line. Hi Tushit, go ahead. What's your question?
Hi Manisha, thanks for taking my call. I have invested in a project which is an independent row house project called Citrus Springvale, and this project has been started in the early 2000s. But now the builder has stopped the construction midway, and there's been no construction activity for the last few years. Recently, Citrus Ventures has taken over the project to finish the development. Now, my question is that what happens if the builder stops the construction of a project? Can I take possession of my independent unit midway if it is complete?
Okay, so is it prudent to take over if it's, let's say, 80% completed? Then you can just get people from outside hire. It's not an easy task. It's not easy. People buy from a developer hoping to get a ready product, Munish, but indefinite wait is also something that buyers don't want to. They've taken loans.
No, I appreciate the question raised by Tushit, but Tushit, you need to understand what kind of agreement you have signed with the builder. In case it is a group housing project which has got a unified sanction plan for the entire group housing project, then you may not be able to catch hold of your unit. However, if you have got a single sanction plan for your own unit, you may ask the builder to hand over the unit to you, howsoever complete that may be, 70% or 80% complete, and it will be prudent to take your unit and do the house yourself. But that will depend absolutely on the kind of building plan that has been filed by the builder.
All right, next question is very interesting. Barth from Dubai writes in saying, I'm a foreigner interested in buying real estate properties in India. So he says properties, not a property, Munish, to be noted. And I have the following questions. Are foreigners allowed to buy and own real estate properties in India? If yes, are there any restrictions attached? Is the mortgage rule the same for Indians and foreigners? I don't think so. I think how can the rules be the same for foreigners and Indians?
To answer the question, the Indian real estate market is such that everybody wants to have a cake, a pie out of this. So, but unfortunately, foreign nationals of non-resident origin, resident outside India, cannot purchase any immovable property in India unless such properties is coming to them by way of inheritance, that too by a person who is a resident of India. Otherwise, they cannot own any kind of a property. However, there is a caveat here that they may take a property on a lease for a period of 5 years, or they can give a property on lease for a period of 5 years. If it is more than 5 years, they have to apply to RBI for a permission for that. Then again, if a foreigner is a resident of India, under the terms of provisions of FEMA 1999, they have resided in India for a period of more than 182 days in a previous financial year, then they can apply to RBI for a permission to enable them to acquire any kind of an immovable property in India. So there are elaborate rules which specify for the purchase of property by NRIs or persons who are resident outside India.
All right, Parth. So even NRIs don't have such an easy time buying anything in India. So if you're a foreigner, not even a non-resident, or let's say it is a non-resident Indian, maybe not of Indian origin, then clearly first come and stay in our country for 180 days before you even consider buying a property here.
Hospitality first.
Enjoy the hospitality first. Munish, thanks very much for joining us. And yes, Mr. Raheja, we'll see you again at the convention. Okay, best budget homes in Kolkata and smart home options in Thane is what's lined up next on the show.